this is the true part 2 of the mastering fighting games approach thing. And I'll remind you again, the game's not wrong, right? The game's not wrong. The game is the game. The game makes the rules. It's your job to figure them out. Okay, so I've told y'all my approach to fighting games as a whole, right? We've talked a lot about that. A lot of y'all found that really helpful. Now, it also applied to like general life things too, but the important thing here is that there's some tangible components to this too. What do I mean? Characters. Homegirl has to pick a character. So in order to learn a fighting game, there are many ways to go about it. You can go I want to learn the system first. You can go I want to learn all the matchups first. Versus then again, and when I say if you're trying to start by learning all of the matchups, that means you just learn all the characters. You're trying to learn as many characters as you can and be as good with as many of them as you possibly can be. That's another approach one could take to getting good at a fighting game, right? That's kind of our theme here. Now, so we got learn the system, learn every character in the game, aka learn the matchups, or my approach, my preferred approach. I do it because I find it to be the most expedient and most fun for me, which is learn one character really well. What does learning one character allow you to do? Well, if you learn one character, everything about that one character you possibly can. You don't have to learn anybody else. And what do I mean you don't have to learn anybody else? Like that? Don't you have to learn matchups? Don't you have to learn how to fight other characters? Yeah, maybe, kind of, a little bit. You do, insofar as how they engage with your stuff. So, an example, make it a little more concrete here. If we're going to use Ling Xiaoyu in Tekken. That's our character, Tekken 8, Ling Xiaoyu. Or we could use Azu Seneca's while running 3. Is it 3-1? 3-2. While running 3-2. Either one, whatever. Something like that. If you know your opponent has to respect your options, like while running 3-2, the old version, the new one, I guess it got nerfed again, maybe, kind of, to a degree. Or like AOP into your sweep, or wave dash into electric, or wave dash into, hell sweep and stuff. Like, all of those kinds of things require your opponent respond appropriately. And if they don't, they die. You can get very far in all of these fighting games just learning that and running that in a flexible way. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and become a flowchart monster. The bad kind, not the kind that I talk about. Because that means you get stuck. It's about how do you learn it? How do you get to the point where you can start to even think about branches and options and mix-ups and all, like you don't start there. If you try to start there, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna take forever, or you're just gonna say, I can't learn this, I can't do this organizedly. I'm just gonna play a lot of hours and hope that I figure it out. And that can work if you're playing in Japan for Virtual Fighter, where they have tons of players to play against all the time, or if you're in Pakistan and you're playing offline in those scenes because there's tons of people to play against. But in regions like the States, there are not a ton of us in one region that can play all the time, regularly. So if you're in the States, metrics are telling me you are, most likely, you're probably in New York City, actually, if where most of my viewers are, then you don't have players. So you don't have the luxury, because it is a luxury, to be able to just sit and play and grind out games and expect that to lead you to become stronger. Also, it requires this nasty thing called socialization. You have to talk to people and talk about the matchup, and they can teach you how to fight against these characters. So So you don't have to, again, learn the whole cast if you have a community of players or a online community of players. Like Landon's been so helpful in helping me learn a lot of things, and so has Juicebox, and so has Daystry and Cadence and your Des through his videos I've seen online. Like I've learned a lot from looking at other players and seeing how they handle different situations. Rekka's another one, God P Ling's another one. Like there's so many people, Saddam. There's so many other great Ling players that I've been watching and learning from. And I see, how do they handle this matchup? How do they handle an opponent who knows how to respond appropriately to the thing that I'm doing? Because I know it's powerful. And that, as you find those things out, as you learn and master your character, you will be forced to learn the system. You do not have to go out of your way to learn the system mechanics. Because, catch this, your character exists within the system. So if you are planning to pilot your character well, especially, it seems like in Tekken, a lot of characters have to deal with the whole system. There's not like a ton of system mechanics in this game, but the ones that are there are pretty pervasive. So everyone gets to use them to a degree. I know, while talking to people, exactly, right? Also, I use really terrifying grappler. I love grappling. Back to... See, there we go. That's the example right there. See, he's reminding me that, like, my Ling can be a grappler. Boom. Now, what does that mean? What are the mix-ups I can do around the grappling? I know it means back turn grapple. That's a real throw mix-up. But people like to break those. Or what if they're going to like hit a button after I do that and they see me jumping in the air? What's the next mix-up? See, these are the layers. These are the layers that get to be built upon each other. All because I've looked already at the system, and that helped me learn my character better. And then I go back to the system. Then I go back to my character, back to the system, back to my character, back to someone who knows some more about other things for me that I might not be thinking about, looking at how they handle certain situations, back to my character. Okay, I tried to do this thing. The very first thing I tried to learn with Ling was her Oki setup with AOP Firecracker. And AOP Firecracker, one of the first mix-ups you want to run, apparently it's really powerful, is crouch cancel back 1+2. Now, I didn't know crouch cancel was a thing, so I was like, wait, how do I crouch cancel? What's that? What is this? Why can't I do it? And then because I didn't know what that was, and because I didn't get the input I was expecting to come out, I had to go through it. I had to go down the line of like, okay, what's crouch cancel? All right, cool. How does this work? Oh, wow, cool. There's a 1-frame window for me to get this move. That sounds kind of risky. But then I learned that in Tekken 8, apparently, which is new, you can buffer you can buffer the crouch cancel, but so long as you don't override the crouch cancel input, which would be up in this case, with another input, which is your back 1+2. So you can cancel your movement into, you can cancel your buffered movement, which is a new thing for Tekken 8, apparently, but I've been told. It's for crouch cancels, might be different for other things, but for crouch cancel specifically, you can now buffer your crouch cancel, which is up. But you can cancel your crouch cancel buffer if you press a button before the crouch cancel has an opportunity to even initiate. You heard? I learned all of that day one with Ling because I looked at some of the basic guides on how to play Ling and how important Oki was. I love Oki. I fucking love Oki so much. I love it. It's my happy place. So I looked into it and said, oh, okay, this is what she has to do. And I tried it for like an hour. Couldn't get it. And then later on I learned about the buffering. Later on I learned about how the input buffer worked. And you see how the mechanics of the system are now being introduced as I'm learning the character. You see how that's happening? How it's being, little bits and pieces are being introduced to my knowledge structure and understanding not just of the game, but of the entire system. Mako, I already played. We're done. I'm making a video. So, you learn system mechanics in context. That's the other problem a lot of people have. They try to like just dump a lot of knowledge into your brain without giving it any context. And then they wonder why they can't do it in a match, or why they can't kind of build in their own mix-ups or intuit new things out of what they do know, because the issue they're having is they have no context for their knowledge. If you don't know when to do a thing, if you don't know, you might know why, but if you don't know, for my character in this context, when do I need to do this? What do I need to? These are the questions you should be asking yourself whenever you're building a mix-up. For my character, again, this is often my character framework, not system, because system is, honestly, I think it's too esoteric to start from. As you're learning. Once you learn the game, then you can go to the system to find really cool things that are like really broken and it's fun. But you if you're still learning it, it's too soon. Learn your character first, or learn your set of characters first. I think if you learn a set of characters, it'll be slower. I think it's slower. If you're trying to prioritize getting good fast, pick a character and stick with them. Unless you're really, really good, then you can do whatever you want. I'm not that good. Okay, I'm just good enough. So learn everything in context, put the system mechanics in context, and then build from there. And only learn enough so that you can understand the next thing. That's all you have to do. What does your opponent have to do for you to do one mix-up over another? What are you looking for in your opponent? Are you looking for them to sidestep? Are you looking for them to backdash? Are you looking for them to duck? Are you looking for them to stand? Are you looking for them to try and break your throws? Are you looking for them to just stand there and do nothing because they're terrified of everything you're about to do? So now you can just dance around them and just teabag on their body. Like, you know, whatever gets you going, man. Like, but what are you looking for? I like to think of it as, what is the use case for this insert technique here? In the day of patching, the rules can be changed. Unfortunately, with Tekken 8, the rules can be changed quite radically in ways that the developers don't always understand. So, more than ever, the game is the ref. It's unbiased, but the ref is kind of drunk and hallucinates and doesn't always know what's going on and forgets what the rules are. So you may have to also figure out what are the ways that the ref is like not doing things that are making sense anymore, which makes it harder to learn the game. But it does make my approach that I'm advertising or advocating for here more important, because more than ever, you're going to have to accept whatever the game is doing and realize that when a patch comes out, whatever you've previously known to be true might suddenly no longer be true.